I mean,
Yes, sir.
you getting us there tonight, boy. I'm telling you. There we
All right.
go. There
Oh,
we
we
go.
got some breaking
Breaking.
news.
We're gonna talk about a little bit about Mr. Donald Trump now. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, those of you that's been hiding under a rock or whatever, he was convicted, and he's a convicted felon 34 times.
Yeah.
It was unanimous, and I'm gonna share a couple of videos with y'all, and then y'all can uh, uh, and then we can talk about it on the other side. The first one I'm going to share with you is so very embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for Senator Tim Scott, but I want you to see the kind of craziness these people are saying. So
Let's resume. Yep. Let's do it.
Can't believe the hoax, this sham, this absolute injustice justice system. DA Bragg and the judge should be ashamed of themselves. This isn't just ridiculous. This actually erodes the confidence that Americans have in the justice system. Unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. But good news is coming. DA Bragg, hear me clearly. You cannot silence the American people. You cannot stop us from voting for change. Joe Biden's injustice, Joe Biden's two-tier injustice system, weaponizing the justice system of the United States of America against a political opponent, un-American. Joe Biden, you're fired. We the people stand.
stop
All
it.
right.
Stop it.
I mean, this dude is an
Stop
absolute
that crap.
embarrassment.
Lord have
His
mercy.
family should be embarrassed.
Hey,
I mean, he has
we know
absolutely no pride in himself. He is a
he didn't speak that
buffoon.
highly of himself when he was running for office. He, oh, this is unfreaking believable.
This is un-American. Are you serious? Are you serious?
That is so that is stupid. Oh God, hold on a second, man. I'm off thing now.
Uh, all he
Yeah.
needs is all I need to do is put a black face on with white lips and get up on the stage and start dancing. What a clown.
Oh God, that was the biggest buffoonery I've ever seen. But he was really mad. Now let me put some real facts with this real quick. We're gonna harp on him too much because that was the biggest buffoonery I've seen in a long time. Okay, fact is he named several people: Joe Biden, Alvin Bragg, and the Justice Department. One, Justice Department had nothing to do with it. This was New York State case. Justice Department had nothing to do with it. Two, you had to go through a grand jury. Alvin Bragg had to go through a grand jury, and a grand jury had to say, Mr. Bragg, there's enough here to convict this man.
Indict him.
Okay. So you go there to indict him. Yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you. Yeah, so they're gonna think I'm one part of the conspiracy. I better get the terms right in that term right. So they had to say you got enough to indict him. So they indict him. Now you got to bring it to the court. And you bring it to the court and you got 200 people. 200 people that you're going through to try to get 12 jurors and six, I think it's six uh,
6
off.
alternates.
Yeah. So out of those 200 people, Alvin Bragg, the grand jury, and the judge had to agree on which 12 would indict Donald Trump. So you see how widespread this conspiracy would have to be? They're stupid, man. And they trying to say that American people are stupid. We'll tell them anything and they'll believe it. That's basically what he's saying.
Look, I will say, look, I'll tell Tim Scott can kiss my ass. And I've said that to him. I've said that about him for the last 20 years. He can kiss my ass. He's a sellout. He's a chump. Look, I just recently, about 6 months ago, sat on a jury here in my county. And I can tell you that the U.S. court system, despite all of its deficiencies, is the court system bends over backwards to ensure that people get a reasonable chance in court.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump is no different than the average citizen. He broke the law, and he got charges against him. He was indicted by his peers in New York City. He had a fair trial, and in some cases, he had more than a fair trial. That judge bent over backwards to ensure that he had every right to defend himself. His lawyers had a fair opportunity. It's not the people of New York's fault that his attorneys are clowns and terrible attorneys. It's not the people's fault in New York that Donald Trump's a terrible defendant.
Yeah.
He was convicted. He was convicted of 34 felonies, and he deserved every one of them.
Guilty? Had they ever thought about he was actually guilty?
No, because he's white.
Yeah.
And they think, oh, well, I'm white, I'm rich.
I
shouldn't have to go through the same thing.
I got the best lawyers.
Right.
I got the best lawyers. I'm going to fool these people.
Right. No, but I shouldn't have to go through it. He was convicted. He's a felon. He's not only is he a felon 34 times over, but he's a sexual predator.
Predator. Yeah.
Right. And we know that he's a failed businessman. It's already been proven in court that his businesses were a farce.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I got one more for you, and we'll talk about that on the other side. I'm good.
Go ahead, start.
Like you've been covering, is pouring in the wake of this decision from members to Congress to former Republican challengers for the GOP nomination. Let's take a look at House Speaker Mike Johnson, who issued a statement earlier. He called today a, quote, shameful day in American history and accused the justice system of being weaponized by the Biden administration, an allegation President Biden denied.
Why the second video I always do that?
I know, it's buffering.
Yeah, the first video I always go through. I don't know. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is stop sharing on that.
Yeah, well, when we can get into it, I think the first video was a good example of as I was saying. The guy has been convicted. There are people in the United States of America that get convicted of crimes every single year, every single day. Felonies, misdemeanors. They all get the same, for the most part, opportunity in the United States courts. There are tons of Black people that have gotten unfairly convicted that no one complains about. And here's this guy who's a criminal, who's a failure at everything he's ever tried to accomplish. And all of a sudden now all these Republicans are falling at his feet saying this is an unfair system.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. But go ahead.
Yeah. I'll tell you about the video that I was going to show. It shows the reactions of Republican lawmakers, which in itself, what Tim Scott did was embarrassing. And he's a United States senator. What these other people are doing is shameful and destroying the legal system in America. If you say something enough, people will start believing you. And that's what they're trying to do. They're telling people that we have a two-tier law system, which we do, but it's not skewed against Donald Trump. It's skewed towards Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what they're trying to get with that. I don't think Black people and minority and poor people, I don't think they're stupid enough to believe that law is skewed towards us, because it's not. So, but what these lawmakers are doing, that video was showing, is you have the Speaker of the House, the third person in line, the second person in line if something happened to the president. You got him going on the air saying that this case was a sham. The judge was no good. The prosecutor was no good. None of them, if you look at their conversations and you see their conversations, none of them say anything about the juror. The jurors are the ones that found him guilty, not the prosecutor, not the judge. The only people that can find him guilty are the jurors. But they're afraid to talk about the jurors because they know that they're talking about American people then who are possible voters. And the American people are not going to take it, not going to be the independent voters, the 33% of MAGA world, they're going to vote for him no matter what. But the independent voters are not going to vote for him if he go after the everyday people that go. None of those people ask to be on this case. They're serving. They're servants. If Republicans knew anything about being servants, some Republicans, I'm not going to say all Republicans, but the majority of Republicans, if they knew anything about servicing their people, they would understand what those people, those jurors, were going through. It's just ridiculous that you got the Speaker of the House going in and talking bad about the judicial system and everything, but he don't trust the judicial system, but he wants the Supreme Court to take a look at this case. Oh, he gonna skip all over. He's talking about skipping all over the appeals court and go straight to the justice system because he knows that they packed the court. They successfully packed the court, so he want to go straight to them. Now the court goes into recession at the end of this month, and the one big case that's coming up that they gotta make a ruling on is the president or the former president immune from prosecution. Totally immune from prosecution, meaning he could go shoot somebody and he can't, they can't prosecute him. Now I can't envision a Supreme Court that would say that, simply because that would empower the current president right now. The current president could go and say, hey, let's go shoot Donald Trump. I can't get prosecuted for it, because that was one that what's the black Supreme Court justice name?
Thomas.
Not him. He's not black.
Jackson.
Yeah, Jackson. That's one of the cases she brought up. She was like, so you're saying that with impunity he could go and do anything he want and can't be prosecuted? And so I can't see that happening, but they may try to carve out some kind of immunity for him to make this case go away, because he can't, if he wins the presidency, he can't pardon himself. So he's a felon for life unless it's overturned in the in the appeals court, or the, I don't even know if the Supreme Court will take it up. And the Supreme Court they will not have time to take it up before the election. Because
the Supreme Court can't take it up. I mean, they can take up the case of his. They can take up the case of his immunity, but he's a felon in New York State. The only people that can overturn his felonies in New York State are the New York Supreme Court.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
right.
Thank you.
Now if Supreme Court takes up his, he's immune, then that would wipe out everything, because it would basically say that he can do whatever he wants to do. But as far as his conviction in the state, that is the New York Supreme Court state. Yeah.
Thanks for getting me right on that one. So
no, I mean, I think you hit everything on the nail. I mean, I don't have much to add to it. I mean, I've said from day one that our justice system is not the best justice system in the world. That's bullshit. It's decent if you have money, where you can get good attorneys that will represent you against the state or the federal government. I mean, when I talk to people about our justice system, I always say, you don't understand how much power is against you until you look on the bills, the bill when it says the United States government versus Sullivan Brown, or you see the state of New York versus Sullivan Brown. That's when you realize how corrupt and how difficult our legal system is. When they have unlimited resources to come at you, and you are somebody who has a lawyer or a lawyer that's been a court-appointed lawyer that's got 500,000 cases assigned to you.
Yeah.
That's when you realize how uneven our justice system is.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's enough said about that. I mean, it's just tomfoolery. It's tomfoolery, and I think I got my laugh on with Tim Scott. Lord have mercy, I ain't never seen nothing like that, man. I'm serious. I really haven't.
Look, I would say this. Let me say this before we go. There was one.
Yeah.
There's something on TV. It's some minister or something saying something about Hillary Clinton. He's laughing all ridiculous and stuff. I would say the same thing to Tim Scott and what he said.
Yeah.
It's like ha 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 ha.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead. I'm just putting my music on, but yeah, Tim Scott just it's just ridiculous. Oh my God! No, he should get an Academy Award for that.
He should.
He probably should. And he's still not going to be vice president. He's not going to be a vice president.
No, he ain't going no further than the buffoon in South Carolina.
He's got the best job in the country if he just do his job, you know?
Well, he can't do his job because if he does his job, then white people down in South Carolina are going to fire him. The only reason that he's the senator of South Carolina is because he's a buffoon. That's it, because he kowtows and he does what they tell him to do. Otherwise, he would be back on the street in South Carolina somewhere.
Yeah, you haven't heard nothing from the senior senator from South Carolina that won't tell the truth. You haven't heard nothing from him. Lindsey Graham ain't said nothing since the guilty plea. I haven't heard him say anything.
Lindsey Graham won't have to say nothing. All he got to do is call up Tim Scott and say, "Do what I tell you to do," and he goes out on TV and he does it.
Yeah.
All good, man.
Okay, good. It was good working again tonight, and we'll see y'all again next week.
We'll see you, man. Hit our stuff, man. Give us some subscriptions.
No doubt. Peace out, y'all. Stay woke.